Imagine waking up one morning to find your entire digital life compromised, your personal data exposed, your finances hacked, and your online identity stolen. On this maiden episode of TekInfuz, we will explore the latest cybersecurity threats and bring you the expert insights you need to protect yourself and your organization in this rapidly evolving digital world. Watch as we gain meaningful insight from a cybersecurity professional who has over 14 years of industrial experience, and alongside him, we have a 2FA and a mobile developer who is also going to contribute in this cybersecurity threat awareness. Sit back and watch.
The digital threats to businesses will never stop.
About a shortage of 68,000 professionals in cybersecurity.
I think maybe you mean in Nigeria alone.
Would you like to tell us what excites you most about the role you play in your company? We'd like to go with you, Mr. Goodness, please.
Yeah. For me, I call the service that we provide for organizations, I call it peace as a service. There's no industry vertical called cybersecurity. So we have financial sector, we have manufacturing sector, we have oil and gas. So you have different industries. These industries came out to produce one or more services that generate income for them. Now, for me as a cybersecurity person, I believe that as you are providing services to your customers, at the back of your mind, you know that because technology is powering some of the services that you are providing, you are not always at peace with yourself because you believe that at any point in time, with the advent of the global growing digital threats to our technology infrastructure, anything could happen.
Yeah.
That could affect your technology, can affect your process, can affect your people. And so you are not always have rest of mind. So rather than focusing on your business to generate revenue for yourself, you have to be thinking about, okay, what's going to be the next thing that's going to happen so that I don't lose my business and of course lose money. So for me, when I talk to people who run businesses, I tell them I'm providing them that peace of mind. So focus on exactly why you are here in the business, to generate money, while I help you to secure those assets that help you to generate the money. So that's for me is peace of mind as a service.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that phrase, peace of mind as a service. Thank you so much for that. So let's go. There's this story, or there's this news about a recent cybersecurity attack in Hong Kong that happened earlier, January 2024 to be precise. The CFO was impersonated using an AI tool, deepfake. So there was a fraudulent attack that they lost $25.6 million US. And that is because of the innovation of these AI tools. What is the current, or what are the challenges that the industries will have with the invent of these AI tools? What do you think?
Yeah, so when that concept artificial intelligence is usually mentioned, one of the things that I always say to start with is artificial intelligence is not new. It has always existed.
Okay.
What is making it more prominent now is the other aspect of artificial intelligence, which is called machine learning. So we now have more data that is now making the AI to be more and more accurate. All right. There's never 100%. So that is the era that we are. That's why you see more and more people talking about it. It becomes it becomes more popular. It's not as if it is new. What actually made it new is because we now have more data. We have more people on the internet who are providing more data. The amount of data has grown, especially with the advent of what happened in COVID-19, and all of that. Now, again, AI in cybersecurity, I usually speak about it as having it's like two edges of a sword. All right.
Okay.
In every movie, there is always the villain, and then there is the good guy. Let me call it the bad guy and the good guy. Yeah. In every movie. In the AI movie, AI is both the bad guy and also the good guy. Again, it's another technology that has come into existence, again, to be able to power or automate most of the traditional processes that we used to do, that we're used to doing. But then again, it depends on who is now using that. And that's why I say it's both good and bad. So like you mentioned, in this particular instance, you have hackers who are now using AI to generate deepfakes. We now have artificially intelligent malware. Before, we used to have malware that, let me use the word, are not artificially intelligent. That a typical antivirus, for example, can be able to catch if you have it on you have an antivirus on your laptop, and and the malware comes into your laptop. You have the normal antivirus, you're able to fix, identify it and maybe block it.
Yeah.
But now they are now artificially intelligent malwares. Malwares that can sit within your laptop, and in fact, they call them fileless malware. So they don't even run on your laptop. Some of the malwares that we have seen in recent times even scan your laptop to identify if they are vulnerabilities, if they are anti-malware or antivirus. They study the antivirus and then adapt their behavior to be able to avoid the detection by the antivirus. That's exactly how different malwares. Again, it's just software. All right. And again, it's making use of data. So it is pulling data based on how the anti-malware or antivirus is working and changing its own behavior to adapt to how that anti-malware is. So again, this is again what the bad guys, the threat actors are doing, using artificial intelligence. On the other side, the good guys, are now using artificial intelligence to also build artificially intelligent anti-malware. So you no longer hear antivirus or anti-malware. They have now been replaced with more artificially intelligent solutions like endpoint detection and response, EDR. In recent times, they have now been expanded to extended XDRs and all the what sorts. So it's no longer relying on virus signatures. Let me put it that way. So if you can, it's now focusing more on behavior of your system, behavior of the files, behavior of your applications within your system, rather than on specific virus signatures, so that those other artificially intelligent malware are not able to study this one's data coming from it. So again, it's both sides of a coin. While the good guys are using it to accomplish much good in cybersecurity, the bad guys are using AI to also accomplish much bad in cybersecurity, and the war goes on and on. It can never get finished. Today we're talking about AI. In the future, if you maybe know about quantum computing, that's another thing that's coming up. But maybe I don't know. We'll talk about it. But again, we keep on having more and more technologies coming up, and for every new technology that come up, the bad guys take a share, use it for their own advantage. The good guys take their own, use it for their own advantage, and it's a never-ending war.
Interesting. When you are explaining in details about what the invention of AI, the good side and the bad side, there's this term malware. There are viewers among us who might not be so techy to know what malware is. Yeah, and you have a whole lot of experience. So please, can you break it down to our own level?
So I mean, everything that runs, it runs on software. We have him; he's a software developer.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that we see today is software. That's everything that we see. Even the cars that you run on software too. The modern tech cars that you see.
Yeah.
Every equipment that you see, most times run on software. So software is just the thing that powers most of the technology that you find around. Your malware is just malicious software. That's exactly what malware is. Again, it's still software was brought in to power technology so that people can be able to do processes in a better way, faster way. But the bad guys, again, that never-ending war, have now taken that same ability and created for themselves malware. So it's no longer called software. Soft meaning good stuff. Malware meaning bad stuff. Again, still the same software, but then the different malicious purpose. So that's exactly what malware is essentially.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So we get it. The software is the good part and then the malware is the bad part.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. And there's this estimation that as of 2023, about 12.3 billion US dollar has been lost because of fraudulent attacks in cybersecurity. And there is estimated projection that it will go up to 40 billion US dollar by 2027.
Isn't that the ones they can trace?
Yeah. So what do you think can be done in order to prevent this from happening? Or maybe from your own standpoint, what has Ethnos done to make sure that cybersecurity threats are reduced to the barest minimum?
Okay. So, speaking about threats,
Yeah.
we usually speak about threats across three different um, what was it, compartments or categories.
Okay.
Call them people, process, and technology. All right. And typically, in each of these various compartments, so to say, the threats or the vulnerabilities, whichever perspective you want to look at it, are different. Um, it, it is not going to stop. That's a harsh reality. The digital threats to businesses will never stop.
Okay.
And the answer and the reason why it will never stop is simply because we are advancing in technology. It's only when we stop advancing in technology that our digital threats will stop.
And that's impossible.
And that's impossible. So the harsh reality is that it's going to continue. There will never be a time when we will have absolute or zero threats. However, all we can do is to simply manage it, reduce it, prepare for it, put in place things to, prevent the impact. So whether there's going to be threat is one, whether the threat is actually going to cause an impact to your organization, and that's a different story.
Yeah.
So the goal here is to ensure that there is no or very minimal impacts. All right. That's the goal. Not necessarily that you want to block threats or stop the threats from ever happening, but you want to be able to, as much as possible, reduce or minimize the impact of such threats to your organization. That's essentially what EthnoCyber does for organizations.
Okay.
Identifying for each organization, for each industry, which organization exists within each industry vertical, what are the threats that affect that particular industry first? Because you see, we don't use one blank template across all organizations. They are different. So an organization that exists within the health sector, for example, the threats that exploit the threats that affect them will be different from the organizations that exist within financial or within manufacturing or within oil and gas or even government. Okay. So one of the first things you want to do is try to understand the organization. Try to understand which industry vertical that particular organization exists in. When if that's like the very first thing, understanding the business. You must understand the business.
Okay.
That's one thing we like to do. Understand the business. Okay. So if you are into manufacturing, let us understand what is your workflow? What is your process like? Let's understand what you do.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The next is now to identify what technologies or people or processes power your organization or power your business. So people that exist, who are they? Where do they exist? Okay. What is their level of cybersecurity intelligent quotient? The processes, how aligned are they with cybersecurity frameworks? And the technology, how secure are they? Where are they hosted? On-prem, the cloud, hybrid, and all of that. So these are, again, some of the conversations we start to have, and you have to look for these vulnerabilities that exist within people, vulnerabilities that exist in processes, vulnerabilities that exist in technology. Then we will now design custom-made solutions for each of these vulnerabilities so that in the event a threat attempts to exploit those vulnerabilities, it is mitigated or is prevented so that there is minimal or zero impact to the organization. That's essentially the thought process regarding providing cybersecurity services to organizations.
That's interesting. Thank you so much for that detailed analysis and explanation. So, Mr. Benson, what would you like to say about this?
Just to add to what Mr. Goodness has said, it's very key to always assess the processes of a business before you can even know what is a threat to that business.
Of course.
It's like when someone goes to the hospital and says, I am sick. You have to ask him some questions. What did you eat yesterday? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
So you get to understand how the person lives his life, especially when what is wrong with him is not particularly obvious. So you have to ascertain, okay, what is your pattern of life? How do you sleep? Where do you sleep? What do you eat? What do you usually eat? Where do you, in fact, some can go as far as where do you source your food from? So for an industry or an organization,
Yeah.
Literally every information is important about the people, the process,
Yeah.
and even the technology that is used. And for cybersecurity, it cuts across all these people, all these categories. The people, it goes ahead to involve, he mentioned something about, are they cybersecurity? Are they aware? Are they cybersecurity aware? Or another way to ask is, have they been trained? Or is there that's where the process now comes in.
Yeah.
As part of the process of recruiting these people, does it contain training where they are aware of potential threats that could bring the company down using just them as a part of the company? Is very key. Then other processes happens in terms of how literally everything runs in the company. So understanding that, then when technology comes in, when I was in the university and we tried to pitch some ideas to some people, that's where I realized that when there is a process,
Yeah.
and the process itself is not thorough and is not optimized for organization, when you bring technology in, technology will not fix that problem. It will not make that process faster.
I see.
When a process is not optimized for organization, that means everything that's supposed to be automated should be automated. Things that are not supposed to be automated should not be automated. Now, when you now bring technology in to automate and to make sure that things are handed off properly, if that system, that process is not adequate, technology will not help it become faster. That's why you see processes, you will see if someone has a laptop in front of him, but still carries paper and pen for you to fill form.
Yeah.
Sensitive information is taken to photocopy machine where someone else can come and make an extra copy. Information is exposed and all. So yeah, if an organization is going to be safe, it's not just from one point. It's every layer is actually involved.
Still on cybersecurity and how we can reduce cybersecurity threats in industry level and all the way down to the normal day-to-day users. Do you think that training more professionals would give a solution to this or help reduce cyber threats? Because currently in Africa, we have about a shortage of 68,000 professionals in cybersecurity. There is a lack of that skilled personnel in cybersecurity in Africa, 68,000 persons. So that's very massive. Do you think training people to know about cybersecurity and also work in various industries will help to reduce cyber threats, even with the advent of AI?
Sorry, when you said 68,000
Yeah.
in Africa, I think maybe you mean in Nigeria alone. Yeah, to be sincere,
Yeah,
I think so.
True.
And even that number might be small
Nigeria.
for Nigeria. Why did I say so?
Okay.
I feel I deal a little bit in the tech training avenue,
All right.
and I see how there is shortage in literally every tech field.
Okay.
You will see talent that has to work 3-4 jobs, not only because he needs the money, but the demand for his skill is high. Now, in cybersecurity, it is even very particular because for a place like US will not allow you to work in cybersecurity if you don't have a certain level of clearance. In fact, while you're working cybersecurity, your clearance has to increase over time in order for you to have access to certain level. Right? Okay, so let me ask, goodness, when it comes to your company working with your clients, what has been the barrier in terms of talents, training people? Have you ever worked with an organization that has enough people to man their cybersecurity space?
Enough. That's never happened. It has never happened.
What do you usually notice?
Yeah, so two issues, and I'm not even going to talk about the talent, whether we need more cybersecurity professionals or not. The answer is clear: we need more. But I'm going to talk about two issues why I don't know whether we are actually going to meet that target in this life, because I like dropping harsh realities. The harsh reality is that we will never ever meet sufficient number of cybersecurity talents. That's the harsh reality.
Okay.
It is real. You may choose to accept it. Because one is we don't even have the enabling environments for businesses to be able to accommodate a lot of people. You just mentioned now over there in abroad, no one works on several things. Like in cybersecurity is broad, right? So you have people who are in the defensive parts, you have people who are offensive, you have people who are in GRC, for example. You find people specializing in one specific thing. So this is my thing. This is what I'm doing. In most organizations you see right now, they don't even have the budget to say, I want one person to come and specialize in GRC. How? I mean, the budget we have is just, we can take only 4 people. And as you are there, you are going to be doing VAPT, you still be doing defensive, you still be doing offensive, you still be doing GRC. You have to do all of them. You know? So at the end of the day, what people consider talent shortage here is that they are looking for one person that can do all three. Everything. That's really the problem in Nigeria. Not as if there are not people who can actually do those things. I mean, not as if you cannot bring in a lot of people. There are many people who are out there who don't have any job in cybersecurity. That's another harsh reality. They are learning a lot, but there's no work. There is no work. Why is there no work? Because these top organizations, their budget is really small. Okay, they cannot accommodate packing a lot of people. The economy is not really, it's not just their fault. The economy is really bad. All right, you cannot just be packing a lot of people. How are you going to pay all of them? So the most times they're only looking for one person who can achieve 1, 2, 3 things for them, and then they call that person a talented person. That kind of thing.
A 10x engineer.
Exactly. It can do this, do that.
Yeah.
So, and that's one issue. Second issue is that what I've noticed in when it comes to this cybersecurity thing, knowledge, is that most people dive into cybersecurity without first understanding the technology fundamentals,
the essentials.
That's always what I see. So you have people who just come and say, I want to enter into cybersecurity. So I'm like, okay, I enter. Because I don't know what to start from. I don't even know what to say you want to enter. What exactly do you want to do? He has not learned the fundamentals. A person who is going to enter cybersecurity must understand how systems work. Linux operating system, for example. How does it even work? Windows. I'm not talking about copy and paste too. Talking about Windows, like Windows scripting, for example.
Yeah.
Configuration. Normal Windows. A person who enters cybersecurity should be able to understand how applications work. That means that you must be able to even know how to develop, at least to some degree, applications. You should know how to even develop. Okay, if you want to do front end, you want to do back, at least know how applications talk to each other. You should be able to know. All right, you should be able to know networking. So you can't just jump into cybersecurity. And again, these are the some of the issues. So you find that most people just jump into cybersecurity. At the end of the day, they have no knowledge about what is happening there because they did not start from ground up. The people who you see talented today in cybersecurity are people who actually started from ground up. My background is I'm a networking person. I also did application. I was also a solution developer. I developed applications. And that is how I now moved and pivoted into cybersecurity. If you don't understand these basics, you can never move.
At this junction, before you continue, do you think it is the fault of the people that wants to get into cybersecurity or the programs that advertise, come and do cybersecurity 4 months, 6 months, and they literally just jump from beginners. I'm sorry, you know why I'm laughing? They literally do 1 week of networking.
Yeah, I've seen where that happened. There's this advert I came across on the internet some time ago. They posted cybersecurity training 1 month. I was like, in 1 month, what would they do? And I actually got to discuss with someone I know who went through that training. I started asking him a lot of questions about cybersecurity. He couldn't even say anything.
Exactly. I'm saying, I have a friend that went through the program. He told me, okay, they are doing networking this week. Okay, the next week, they had moved on to something else. I spent, one of my background is in computer engineering.
Yeah.
Then before I even started my computer engineering program, I did computer system engineering that took us through the basics of everything hardware.
Yeah.
Right? Right there, while I was still on that program, I now started my Cisco networking program. So I did CCNA 1 to 4. That was where I was exposed to the world of networking.
Yes.
I'm thinking, how do you do cybersecurity without understanding what is that 7
OSI
layer?
7 layers. OSI
If you don't understand that system, or when it is transported and when it is converted to the other end where it is just 5, you don't understand how the 7 layers talk to each other. You don't understand it. I don't see how it is even viable for you to say you understand. You want to do cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And before you can even get through that, not even a month.
Yeah.
Like, just understanding how these things talk to each other. And you can, because it's literally what your thinking is based on. If you're going to be able to troubleshoot as a network engineer, it is based on that. If you're going to be able to stop an attack,
It's based on that.
it's based on that.
Yeah.
So if someone goes through a training and they say they just did 1 week on networking, and they just say, oh, okay, OSI model, this, that, the draw diagram, and the person cannot articulate that at the network layer, it is IP address, at the transport layer is port number, even at the hardware layer, at the physical layer, is bits. The person can't articulate that. I don't see how it will make sense for you to say, hey, you want to come into cybersecurity. So yes, I think talent is seriously on the shortage end. Training is purely based on profit making many times, right? But you see some training of some big organization, let's say Cisco, you want to go training on Cisco, you go on NetAcad and you want to, Cisco will take you through specifics, right? If say you want to introduction to cybersecurity, you will start from the things before you even go to the technical fundamentals. You will start from things you should know around it. Why does it make sense? How does it affect your regular day-to-day life? That's the fundamentals he's talking about.
Yeah.
We are not even talking about the technical fundamental. We are talking about how does cybersecurity affect your day-to-day life.
Okay.
What should you know so that when you are thinking about it, it makes sense. And what if it doesn't make sense to you? Even when you get to the technical part,
It's true.
Yeah, it
will not make
It
sense. Because you're supposed to be the expert, and an expert should be able to explain to someone else like a 5-year-old.
Exactly.
Should be able to explain to a 5-year-old that, hey, this is the IP address. That is how you know, identify that device and this device. And there is a level at which they get to in order for them to be able to talk to each other. You can understand that when I send a video from my WhatsApp, it goes through a lot of medium before it lands there. But it's the WhatsApp message you just type, bah,
Under split
and
seconds,
under a split second, you get it. it goes through a lot of journey before it comes there.
Yeah.
So if the person can't understand it at that level, he can't secure anything. He might eventually find a niche in cybersecurity, but even with that, there might be a bit of struggle connecting what is essential and doing the job at a level. There are some problems he will come across. He would definitely need to go and look for someone else that understands it at a very, very fundamental level in order to solve the problem. Yeah. So, anyone that wants to, needs to have the right roadmap.
Good.
No hurry.
Yeah.
No hurry. I think that's why it's easier for computer science graduates to get into cybersecurity. Computer engineering graduates, to an extent, they are exposed. But even with that, you still have to be very serious with your life.
You have to be smart.
Yes.
For me, I'm not even bothered about whether you're computer science.
Yeah.
I interview people, like you said.
Yeah.
I interview a lot of people who come and join our firm. And they'll be thinking that when I want to interview them, I'll start to ask them cybersecurity questions. And they will be surprised when the first question I ask them is, what are the 7 layers in the OSI model? And they'll just be saying, because most of them have been reading about cybersecurity, GRC, all those things, and they'll be waiting for me to ask them questions on that. And I'll not ask them, what are the 7 layers? A network firewall, what layer in the OSI model does it operate in? So they will, okay. Why are you asking me these questions? I said, because that's why I started from. So you have to start from there.
Yeah.
You understand? And these are people you see on LinkedIn that have very good certifications. You understand? Yeah, big guys on LinkedIn, and they'll be speaking a lot of English. And if I don't sit down with them within 5, because I'll ask them, I will not say, okay, let's even spread out endpoint security, application security, data security. Which of these domains are you 100%? I don't want to, because me, I'll ask you a question anyway. So I don't want to embarrass you. So choose the one that you want,
that you can test.
You understand? So you will not tell me, okay, I want network security. Okay, let's go to network security. Let's talk about network firewall. How can you be able to? What is a DMZ? Okay, what does the DMZ have to do? So I will just ask you those fundamentals. And again, like you said, so most times I just look at this whole thing. I just say, well, the economy is not good. Those guys who are doing the training, they're just looking for profit. I mean, for them to train you on cybersecurity, I don't know. It is what they're doing is wrong, because me, I can never teach somebody cybersecurity in 2 months. I don't promise you to teach you that. I can only teach you the fundamentals, and then you can come and start learning the cybersecurity. You understand? We should take in years. I learned this thing over years, and I'm still learning. I have not fully learned anything. Not fully learned, so I'm still learning. So you can't just come and say 6 months crash course. Nothing. It does not exist. Those people who did it, maybe they're just doing it because they want money.
Yeah.
And maybe will I blame them? You're looking for money too. Because if you want to keep somebody for 1 year to start to teach him, can the person afford it?
That's the thing.
That's another thing. So, like I said, it will never happen that we will have sufficient people. We'll just be in this circle talking about this matter for a long time.
Okay. Sorry, Victor. I also want to ask you. Let's say you want to create a roadmap.
Yeah.
A roadmap. Like a 16-year-old comes to you and say, Mr. Goodness, what is the first thing that you need me to go and learn right now? Now, the plan is I want to become a cybersecurity person. But before I even start to think of specializing, what's the first thing you need me to go and learn right now? What would you say?
Like, I would tell you that the first thing you need to go and learn is Windows. Yes. And you may ask me, what one is Windows? I say, okay, what would you have? I mean, today, every day, you have a laptop, you make use of your Windows.
Yeah.
You have a laptop, for example. What do you use your laptop to do? Most of the times, maybe it's to type Word or Excel. It's okay. Let's now learn Windows operating system, not the application that exists in Windows. Let's now learn the operating system, the software that powers out your laptop. So that's where for me I will start from. Then one of the things I usually do is, okay, cybersecurity is broad. There is GRC, there is offensive, there is defensive. Then there's also several domains: endpoints, application, network. if I say, if you have a particular part, okay, because every part has its own fundamentals.
Yeah.
So if you want to go into application security, for example, one of the things I would tell you is, okay, go and learn how to develop applications. Okay, simple applications. Whether you want to do front end, back end, whatever you want to do, but go and learn how to develop. Or you want to do full stack, go and learn how to develop applications. This is where I want you to start from. Learn how to develop simple applications. So you need to understand how applications are. Then move to networking, for example. So you see how I took it from endpoints, which is Windows, Linux, to application, developing applications, to networking. If you have gotten this this to me are the key fundamentals: endpoints, application, networking. Once I've gotten these three, then we can now start building on top the security part of it. Then we can now begin to spread. We'll now focus on data security. We'll focus on identity security. Then we can now move into
all these converges to the application security.
And so we'll start from here, and we are moving out. We're moving out gradually. You begin to learn how to carry out pen testing, for example, because I can't tell you to go and learn how to learn pen testing. You can never see me give that advice. Okay, start doing pen testing. You must start with endpoints. Learn how Windows operating systems work, how Linux operating systems work. Because you see, at the end of the day, where we are going towards still comes back to this place. You understand? Where we are going towards. When you branch into governance, risk, and compliance, it still comes back to this place. You have many people who are doing consulting out there. They don't know jack about how these things work. They just come and say, I'm an ISO 27001 professional, which is good. You understand? That means that you have crammed all the requirements on ISO 27001. But you see, that is just you cramming a lot of things. If I take one of the requirements and ask you a question about how it applies to an organization's technology stack as we speak, an organization is running AWS, for example. How are you going to implement access control on EC2 instances running on AWS? You begin to look at me. Oh, yeah, answer the question. Okay? Because that's a valid question. You don't also tell me that you have crammed all the whole requirements. This is an organization. They have EC2 instances deployed on AWS server and AWS cloud. So talk to me about what access control are we going to input? Because the requirements said implement access control. That was the requirement said. Is it written in English language? Implement access control for your systems. That's the English language. Oh yeah. Now I have EC2 instances I'm running on my cloud AWS. How am I going to implement the access control? What am I going to do? No idea. Why? Because you have not understood the fundamentals. Maybe you don't even understand how cloud systems even work. You understand how AWS. I mean, go to AWS, for example. You want to do AWS. The first thing they tell you to go and do is AWS Cloud Practitioner. They will not tell you to go and do AWS Security Specialty. That's another high level. Yes. Because if you don't understand how AWS and the services work within AWS, you can never learn how to secure them. That's like the highest level. So again, it all starts from the fundamentals. But again, the major question is, who has the time? Who has that budget to start to train people and all of that? For me, when I see that you are smart, and that's my own approach in curbing talent shortage for us in Ethnos. The key thing we look for is smart people. You understand? Because you must be smart. You must not be technology wise, but you must be smart. You understand? You must be smart, and you to be able to know how to. If I tell you 1, 2, you should be able to put 3, 4, 5 together. That's how I know you are smart, and I can. Yes, this is a good fit, and I can bring you in. Then we can now start the journey. Because the journey. It's not a 6 months crash course or 3 months. It's a journey. Go through. We have many people who have come through me. In fact, there's one guy now. He's the CTO of 3CS. He came in when he came to my company.
Yeah.
He came in as a student of a university. He's a student. He just finished from secondary school. He just went to university.
Oh.
He went to university. Just finished from secondary school when he came. And he said he wants to. He was killing him. He said he must join. He doesn't. So I said, okay, let's start the journey now. And he spent like 7, 8 years. He's still in university, final year. But he's a CTO of one top company. The company is based in the UK.
Wow.
He's a CTO. They don't even know he's still in university. He's attending now, this National Open University.
Wow.
He
That's
spent
interesting.
7 years. 7 years. Those are bloody years. Because if you are with me, it's bloody. You cannot stay with me and I don't have, that's my weakness. I don't have patience. So I will give it to you hot, back to back. You cannot sleep.
7 solid years.
7 years. And this is the CTO. They came and hired him now. You understand? Because they have seen his
They
potential.
came to hire him directly from you guys.
No, they pushed him now. You know how they want these things now. They're looking for already made.
Yeah.
You know how people come and do already made. They don't, like I said, nobody has the time to go through this process.
Actually.
They just look for that person that can do those 3 and bring them and use them. Organizations just look for already made people to take through this process. It's a lot. It's a lot of time.
Actually.
And where is the money? Because you are making, there's an expense on you, on your budget, on your, there's an expense head on your company.
Because you have to put him on the salary.
What is the return on investment?
Yeah.
You understand? So most organizations just want to just scoop ready-made people and go and start making money from me. That's what I see. That's why talent shortage in this Nigeria.
It cannot be solved.
It cannot be solved.
Right. Yeah. So you've given us a detailed explanation of the fundamentals, the journey, and we have seen from an example someone who took 7 solid years to get there. So that was the question I had in mind, Mr. Benson, because I know that there are persons who are out there, they want to learn, they want to go into cybersecurity. In fact, that is the top skill currently in tech for people to go into. Anybody you ask, I want to go into tech, the first thing they will mention to you is cybersecurity. And if they don't have these informations, they can't go anywhere. Yeah, so that's why I wanted to ask that question. And we also talked about some persons who claim to be the professionals. They claim that they have gone through cybersecurity training.
You will see that it's on their LinkedIn, cybersecurity expert.
Yeah. So these individuals are also there. That's the reason for the question, so that they will know their mistakes and then they will go back and trace their steps. Yeah, so that's the reason for the question. And yeah, you've given us a very detailed explanation on how that can happen.
Okay. So before we go, just to provide clarity, when someone is new or is trying to seek knowledge, clarity is very key. Right. For Mr. Goodness, I know there are some exams like CompTIA, A+. Would you say it's a good, forget the exam part, right? Trying to, you understand? You get it. Forget the exam part. The training, that you get in order to prepare for the exam. Let's say materials to prepare for CompTIA A+, would you say is a very good fundamental?
Yes, 100%. Because that again is focusing on, in the OSI layer, that's focusing on the physical layer. It's like the hardware part of everything. I'm not sure, I don't know, but again, I noticed that people who actually are very good actually all started from hardware.
Yes.
People who are actually very, they all started from hardware. Understanding how to even change RAM.
Yes.
I mean, last week I just asked one guy, what are the types? So he said he knows RAM. I said, what are the types of RAM in a laptop? I just asked him a random question. Because I just asked random questions. I don't even know where they come from. It was like, there is only one RAM. That's what he said. How can there be types of RAM?
He did not know there are DDR2.
Yeah, no, they don't know the DDR2. You don't know. Just there's only one type of RAM. So, this I just throw in random. So, A+ is hardware. It's even a fundamental to start.
Yes.
That does not mean a person who goes to go and learn, who leaves hardware and goes to go and learn Windows, for example, is wrong. But again, so I mentioned this fundamental. I mentioned endpoints, application, network.
Yes.
You see, these are fundamentals. You understand? Endpoints is laptop. Your laptop, your hardware, your operating system, endpoints. Networking, how to design network, how to do this thing.
So, in recent times, or not just so recent times, it happens every now and then. There's this complaints we get from people in the internet, in the radio, that they got a message from maybe their banks or maybe a reputable organization, and they are asked to put in a certain detail, and once they follow up the prompt, their money gets lost. So how would an average user get the right information in order to stop this from happening? Or what would we call it in general?
Okay, so I mean this thing called phishing is a problem of both the person and the hacker. Anyway, the two of them must come together for a successful phishing to happen. And what do I mean come together? I'll give you a typical scenario.
Okay.
You get a text message saying that you have won an iPhone. Now ask yourself, what did you do
To win the iPhone.
Then you now say, click this link for you to win it. Now, the hacker or the guy those guys they might not even be a hacker, it may just be one small script kiddie that doesn't want us. You just send it to people, right? Maybe 500 people, because he knows that at least one of them will click it. You that you know that you have not done anything. You did not do any process. You did not go for raffle draw. You are in your house. You are using one old rickety Android. Is it not inbuilt thief in you? or is it not robbery that exists inside you that will make you to go, okay, yes, I have won it, let me go and click? So you click it. It's just greed.
Yeah.
I have seen it. It happens. It's just greed. I mean, why will a person know that he has not won an iPhone and go and click and he wants to go and win an iPhone? Okay. And he say he wants to go and claim it. Why would you claim something that you don't know? That means that you want to steal. So like I said, phishing has always been a collaboration between the person that initiated it and the users. All right. So this is one instance, but there have also been instances where it has not always, may not always be the fault of the user, for example. Okay. So in that instance, this is where I mean, more proper awareness now comes in. And the major issues that come around phishing issues is when it comes to bank details, for example.
Yeah.
All right. When you are told to go and carry out transactions, or you're given links to go and carry out transactions where you're not supposed to, organizations will want to carry out more and more awareness on these humans, because phishing is always a human thing. It's a human vulnerability. That's what phishing is, just exploiting the human vulnerability in people. All right. So somebody understands what you want and uses that to drag you in, speaking to your inner, what you really want. So more and more awareness on people, and the awareness now has to be more detailed. Most of the awareness now is I noticed that there is this CISO, there is a committee called Committee of CISOs in Nigeria. They are now even carrying out awareness in languages, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba languages, because you cannot be speaking English to a person that doesn't understand this in proper English, telling him fishing, does not even know what fishing is. They are speaking fishing. A Yoruba woman on the selling in the market, or an Igbo woman does not understand what you're saying. So you want to be able to break down these things so that the person understands, so that the person is more aware. So awareness is just key. More and more awareness is key. And for users, but users really have to step up their game. They have to understand that these are tactics used to collect information or to be exploited by all these hackers, and they should be aware.
Yeah.
The part that I would add, because there's nothing you can do if the person is not aware. If that awareness is not there, there's literally nothing the person can do to protect himself. So part of the awareness that I would just throw out there is always set up a form of backup. Backup in the sense that there are literally every application that you use out there, from banking to WhatsApp to think of anything, has what they call 2FA authentication.
Yeah.
So 2FA is two-factor authentication. So it means that you don't just authenticate once, you authenticate twice. Now, the second level of authentication is far away or different from that system that you are using at that point. So what I mean is, you put in your password and username. After you're doing that, then these days you have text message. It sends a code to your phone. Make sure you set up that, because there is a high chance that your password is already on the internet. Believe me.
Yeah.
If you want to check it, there are websites where you can check if your password is exposed.
Wow.
Yes. So set it up. Your username and password is not enough. Set up a 2FA authentication. It is so much that even text message is not enough anymore.
it is so clear that for a phishing attack to happen, it's as a result of the fault of the end users. So they are not aware of what they need to do and what they need to put in place in order to stop these phishing attacks from happening. So Mr. Benson has mentioned one thing that average users can do in order to stop this from happening. So what advice would you give average users to implement in order to stop these phishing attacks from happening, Mr. Goodness?
So again, I'm not going to give any advice besides what I've already given before, which is the awareness. So
Okay.
no matter how you no matter what technology you're going to implement, if the person is not aware, there's nothing that you're going to do in this life, the person will not be hurt. Okay? There is nothing that we can do. In fact, one of the CISOs told me last month that a user got 2 text messages. The first text message was from his bank telling him, do not click on emails, do not click on any links that we did not send you to.
Interesting.
The second text message was, click on this email to claim your prize. And he clicked on that one. So he saw the 2 of them. Okay. So again, it's all boils down to what the users.
Yeah.
They need to be aware, and they need to understand that this is a pandemic. Okay, this will affect them.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we see phishing in various forms. In various forms. Phishing is just, I throw you a bait, you hook on the bait, and I hook you in. That's what the phishing is.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, just last one that we saw where people were swindled of millions of, again, it's a type of phishing, but people did not know. But they were swindled. They put money into an investment scheme, and as they were putting the money, it was sweet for them. Then they now put a lot of money, and all the money went to them. Again, they keep on telling us, keep on making people more and more aware of these things, because these guys will never stop. So users have to continue to be aware. You understand? But like he has mentioned, implementing 2FA again, this one is now for users who not even have any idea. So this kind of thing can just happen to them. And so that's that second level will be able to protect them. But at the end of the day, you see, the human is key in this conversation. And if humans, the users, the end users are not actively participating in these anti-phishing attempts, phishing will always be successful.
Yeah, and that's a wrap on this episode of Cybersecurity Threat Awareness. Follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter for more updates at Mcgate Tech. See you again on the next episode.